today. There are at least 13 confirmed dead and 8 injured. We go right now to the scene with Vicky Vale. Vicky?
I'm here on site of a massive bombing in Chinatown earlier. The people here are still recovering from the massive, devastating strike to the heart of Somerset. Reports suggest that the attack may be gang-related, but as both buildings destroyed are rumored to be Maroni crime family fronts, Gotham is grieving for this unprecedented attack. Will our streets ever be safe again? And is this just the prelude to even more carnage? This is Vicky Vale, signing off.
The heat in Gotham is unbearable today. Gotham's famous for hot summers, but this particular one is extremely intoxicating. Tempers are running hot, and each of you are feeling the pressure and the weight of the circumstances surrounding that heat. We start this morning around 2 in the afternoon with our darling friend Finn O'Connor. Finn, you find yourself in a small alleyway in Somerset, just at the end of Chinatown. Your hands are covered in small amounts of blood. Your knuckles are cut slightly, and a man in a suit is barely conscious in a pile of mud and asphalt just in front of you. You've taken his wallet, and you've collected what he's supposed to owe you. Oh, please. I don't, As you toss the wallet towards him, do you have anything you want to say to this guy? I mean, he owes the family money, and he was late on paying.
Is the correct amount of money in the wallet?
He's short a little bit, but you suspect that what you've got it'll buy him a little bit more time.
Take the cash out of his wallet and, folding it, slip it into his jacket pocket, and kind of throw the wallet down onto his chest. Let this be a lesson to you. And I know you're short here, so I'll give you, we'll say, another 24 hours. Don't make me come find you.
Oh, God. And you see him kind of very slowly crawl away into the shade and just kind of lay there as you make your way out of the alley. As you walk down the street, you see a couple of people look at you funny. You are splattered with a little bit of blood from the beating you just gave this man, but none of them pay any mind. No one calls the police. No one takes issue with you, because they know where you are and they know where they are. It's not worth it. Now, Finn, you know where Leopold's apartment is, which is where he is currently waiting for you to deliver the money.
As he heads down the street, he will take his handkerchief out of his pocket and wipe his hands off a bit. However, he's completely not paying attention to that. He's just driving on along, legs powering like a steamroller, just dedicated to achieving the objective of getting to the place.
Yeah.
Without really paying attention to anyone else.
As you're walking, you pass by a small food truck, and there's a decent line ahead of it. It's a hot day. People don't totally love hot food, but this is a truck that most people are willing to suffer the heat for. And as you walk by, the owner goes, "Hey, O'Connor, that you?"
He will snap around as if, suddenly disturbed from his reverie or his focus, but will quickly give a smile as he sees who's addressing him.
You don't recognize this man, but he seems to recognize you. It's not uncommon in this part of town. You hungry, O'Connor?
Depends. What you got going on today?
Ah, we got some of the nicest dumplings in town right here. Have some. Come on, on the house. Go ahead. You can just move right past the line.
Why, thank you very much.
Couple of the
He will.
yeah, a couple of the people in the line look at you funny. The ones that know better do not.
He will grab up the offered food without really paying attention to the guy or the people in the line. Sort of uh, with a vague nod to the guy and like recognition or thanks, somewhere in between. He will just take off down the street, but he will uh, grab a handful of napkins.
Very good. There's enough for two. It's kind of a fusion. It's a fusion truck, so it's a little bit of like Asian cuisine mixed with a little bit of like something else that would probably pair well with it. Doesn't sound like it'd pair well with it, but it you know from experience it's pretty good. Um, it's a long walk through the sun, and it's quite hot with the food in your hand. But before too long, you make it to the other side of Red Lotus. Just off of Loeb Boulevard, you find Leopold's place of business. It's his offices and his apartment at the same time. Um, there's a little security buzzer at the entrance of the complex that you have to push to buzz in.
And he walks up and kind of shifts what he's holding awkwardly a couple of times before getting his right hand free, and he pushes the button and holds it down for about 2.5 seconds, just slightly longer than necessary.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yes.
I got what you're waiting for here.
Huh. Then come on up.
The door opens and you make your way into the apartment complex. It's nice. It's very presentable. You haven't worked with Leopold very often, but when you do, you're usually directed to do so. You know that he's very smart with money. And even though he's not a made man, for an associate, he has far more pull than most would.
Good afternoon, Finn. Do you have that deposit?
He comes in, gives him a nod at that, sort of looks around for a clear spot to put down his food before plucking the folded bills out of his coat pocket. I think you're going to find this is a trifle short, but I gave him 24 hours to get the rest. We'll see what happens.
With a practice hand, Leopold flips through the bills real quick, pulls out a ledger, and, of course, in a very odd code, writes down the amounts and then updates the due date on it. If you're needing napkins or utensils, they're in the stand there.
Oh, thanks, but I brought my own. And he pulls some of the napkins out of his pocket. You want some? He holds out the little box and offers the guy a dumpling.
They're dumplings with some kind of sauce poured over the top of them. They look quite good and they smell very nice, but it is also probably pretty spicy.
Leopold will sit down and he will take the minimum amount to be polite. So, you stopped at at a truck on the way here?
Well, that's how it is sometimes. The little guys from the corners are always trying to get into your good graces.
I suppose we'll have to keep an eye to see if they're around here that often. And see if they need to start paying their fair share.
Curious how his name, because I don't know him. Although, admittedly, maybe I went to school with him way back when or something. I don't know.
Well, you do cut an impressive figure. It's hard to miss you.
Well, thank you very much.
Let's cut away from you guys for a moment. Danny, you find yourself at a business lunch at the Harbor House. It's a steakhouse on the edge of the Gotham River, right by some of the Dixon, right by the Dixon docks, which is a very profitable place for your shipping business that you take care of. You've run into a lot of trouble since you've moved into Gotham here. Everybody owns everything else, so it's very hard to get your own foot in the door. You've been mostly working alongside other people, but the man that you're meeting with, Rupert Thorne, is a city councilman that you think might be able to get you some permits to your own basically plot of docks if you don't mess this up. For a city councilman to meet you, you've basically worked your entire time in Gotham to get you this arrangement. This lunch could make or break you here in Gotham. It's just you, his associate, and is there anybody that you would like to invite? I know you don't know too many people in Gotham, but still.
Yeah, I don't think there's anybody else that I would know to invite, more so that I don't know them well enough to trust they won't do something to make it harder for me to seal the deal.
The man, the dinner place is nice. They finally, the waiter takes your order, and after a little bit of small talk, Rupert Thorne says to you, he goes, I'm making the moves to make sure that everybody can work freely in this city. It's difficult. I'm up with a lot of opposition in the city council. I hope you understand.
Yeah, of course I understand. It's a little bit of a rough time for everyone, I think.
Oh, tell me about it. With all these pressures that the new Wayne Tech chairman's been putting on, makes it very difficult to... Well, Mr. March is a good man, but I'm not sure he's got an eye for business like the old Waynes did. Yeah?
Times change.
Of course. So tell me a bit about yourself. You from Gotham?
No, I moved here a few years ago from Bloodhaven. Business was not exactly booming, so I needed to move somewhere where I think I can get the most out of life.
Bloodhaven's a good town. I spend a lot of time there. I've got a summer home in Avalon Hill, and of course I have a few business interests in Cape Fear. You must have a lot of experience with ports then, hmm? Bloodhaven is primarily a port town, is it not?
It is. My family works in the ports.
Ah, I see. Anybody I would know?
I'm not sure. Have you done a lot of business with them in the ports in Bloodhaven?
It's possible. I work with a lot of people down there. Though, admittedly, most of my associates come through a particular family down there.
I'm not sure if you would, because I think I would have met you before now.
Oh, family business. I love that, kid.
Very family-oriented family.
We all should be in these days. So, my assistant tells me you are interested in your own cut of land. Yeah? Something that you could manage some imports and exports, a warehouse, a docking lane. Does that sound right?
Yes, it does. I've got a few friends who have been looking to expand their imports into Gotham, and I think it'd be good for business.
I agree. Some of the most lucrative industries here come through those ports. And yet, it's a very competitive industry. There's so much to do, and, well, so many hungry hands trying to grasp at it. So, what assurance do I have that my investment in your industry is going to be worthwhile?
Well, I've got previous experience in Bloodhaven. It just wasn't enough. I'm hungry for more.
Ambition is a hell of a beast. I know it well, quite familiar with the taste. Tell you what. In order for me to repossess a piece of territory that belongs to someone else, someone ineffective, not worthy of that ambition, I'm gonna need to grease a few palms. Make some moves and make sure that the right people have gifts. For that, I'm gonna need a little bit of collateral. In case my investment doesn't work out for you.
Danny kind of leans back in his chair and slowly nods. What kind of compensation are you looking for?
I have two options for you. One, you could give me $10,000 up front. That should be a drop in the bucket compared to what you'll end up making there in a few months, if you're smart. Your other option, I will handle all the expenses of making sure that you're set up. And if you haven't paid me back $10,000 in, say, 6 months, then I'll buy your family's company instead. For a less than market price.
Ah, I see.
I'm always looking to expand my opportunities in Bloodhaven. It's a risk for you, of course, but otherwise you'll need the money up front.
Would I have that kind of uh, back would I have that kind of money in there, or would I have assets around that? Or?
Not on you right now. Things have been kind of stressed since you came to Gotham. Right now, you've probably got, if you were to call in a lot of favors, you might be able to scrounge $8,000 in cash. But give it a month or two, you might be able to. You could. That's definitely an amount of money that you could work towards, for sure. It's just not something that you have right now.
Right. All right. Well, do you have a plot that you're considering? Maybe we can go over that before we discuss the price.
Well, the Dixon Docks are a good place. Not too far from Maroni territory. Means you'll have extra eyes on you and extra protection. But it also means that you'll have extra eyes on you and extra protection. Other than that, there's a number of ports all around Gotham. Hard to find one that's not to somebody's liking. Perhaps the Gotham Docks and Port Adams, though I imagine you wouldn't like being so close to down south.
No, I wouldn't. I think the Dixon docks would work.
Wonderful. I'll start poking at some leads down there, and I'll give you my assistant's number. Whenever you're ready to do business, feel free to. And before he finishes talking, the room rattles. And then you hear a loud pop. What was that?
I'm gonna quickly finish whatever drink I had there, just in case something happens.
You gotta make sure you get that expensive champagne down.
It's expensive.
We're gonna cut back over to Finn and Leo for a minute. As you guys are having your conversation, both of you are thrown to the floor. Leo, your windows shatter. The whole building shakes and things tumble off of shelves. Your TV falls off the mount of the wall. It's not an earthquake. It's far more sudden. You both feel like you were punched as you're thrown to the floor. And your ears are ringing.
Did somebody just set off a bloody bomb? Run to now one of my vacant windows and look out.
There is a large, there's a large plume of smoke coming from just by Hughes Street. People are running down towards down the lane. Many of them are screaming. Some of them are covered in dust or blood. And it's not 2 minutes later that you start to hear a lot of sirens.
So as he jumped back up, Finn had whipped his pistol out, but he, upon quickly scanning around, reholsters it under his arm, his jacket, looks back at the floor at his now toppled dumplings, and shakes his head somewhat sadly.
My free food.
Gotta have those priorities.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It's always something.
I guess we better go check.
We do and we don't. Something that sure has something to do with, well, somebody around here. We're about the only somebodies around here.
As you guys make your way down to the street, there's a large crowd that is gathered, kind of blocking the way. The sirens are now much closer. There's 4 to 12 police cars and about 6 fire trucks that are made their way to the building that has exploded. Why don't you guys both make me a perception check? We're making our first roll of the evening. First roll of the game.
Ooh, first roll.
16.
I think I'm good at perception.
Yeah. You also, remember, if you're not under any specific pressure, you are allowed to make a routine check, which means you just add your modifier to 10, which is probably pretty good for you, Leopold.
I think a 23 is pretty good.
23 is pretty good. All right. Yeah, as you guys are looking, you can see that GCPD has pulled out a bomb squad that are currently sweeping the area. They're pushing people back. But you notice that a few men in suits that are not the FBI have been allowed past the police tape. They seem to be arguing with the police captain that's in charge of the situation. Leopold, you specifically recognize the guy who's arguing with the police captain as Tony Zuko, who is basically the next guy up above the ranks between you and Sal Maroni. He's not Maroni's right-hand man by any means, but he is a higher rank than you.
He'll give a slight nudge to Finn and kind of just tilt his head. It's Tony Zuko. This. Yeah, this seems to have stirred the hornet's nest.
That's in broad daylight. Hornet's nest may be the least of it.
As you guys make your way wherever it is that you go after this, I assume you guys probably want to either head back or head to the Red Lotus and see what's going on there.
Leopold would want to go towards Lotus.
I say it's time to touch base.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Danny, as soon as it becomes apparent that that was a bomb, Rupert says that he needs to call the meeting short, but he makes sure that you have the assistant's contact information.
I'm going to make sure he's able to leave safely, maybe offer to escort him to his vehicle or whatnot.
He refuses, but he says it's very appreciated.
And once he heads out, I'm going to open up my phone and see if I can make some calls, see what's going on, and head towards my car.
As you guys, as you do, who's the first person you call? You have a couple of contacts in the Maroney family, and you have some other contacts that aren't in the Maroney family.
I can see the smoke from my...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's a massive plume of smoke coming from Chinatown.
Okay, so I think I'll call one of my contacts in the Maroney family, because that obviously is well within their territory. So I'll call them first.
Perfect. What do you have a name for this guy? I can come up with a name if you don't have it. Or did you just say it and I missed it?
I do not.
Okay. We're going to call him Joseph. No, we're not going to call him Joseph. I just read that name. Oh, no, actually, let's do it. Yeah, this is Joe Kaprisky. You know him to be a made man within the Maroney crime family. As you answer, he goes, Danny, I swear to God, if you had something to do with this.
Oh, come on, Joe. Really? That's how you're going to start that conversation?
Everybody's pissed right now. What's up? What do you want?
I wanted to see what's going on, see if you guys needed something. I was in the meeting at the docks, so...
Yeah, give me a second, Danny. He lowers the phone for a minute, and you hear him talking to somebody else, and he goes, come to the Red Lotus when you can. Fast.
Alright, give me 5.
And sure enough, shortly after you arrive... Oop, I have somehow locked you into place. Not what I intended to do. As you guys make your way to the Red Lotus, when you arrive, it is chaos there. People are running in different directions. The restaurant itself has been closed early for the day, so the other offices that are above it are a mess. Everybody is running back and forth and shouting at each other. And not too long after, you see Sal Maroney himself and his security escort enter the building and go right up to the meeting room on the 3rd floor. Tony Zuko and a couple of other made men all go in there, and the 3 of you, along with some other associates, are left in kind of the lobby area on the 2nd floor. It's comfortable. It's got chairs and couches and a water cooler and a vending machine and all that jazz, but you guys would know of each other if you don't know each other super well. Danny, you specifically know that that Leopold lives right inside of Chinatown, so he's usually got a beat on what's going on at any given time.
Leopold's sitting Leopold looks up. He's got a Sudoku in front of him at the moment. Danny, I see the excitement of the day did not miss your attention.
Not much does. I'm glad to see your house wasn't the one on fire.
Missed it by a few blocks.
Do we know what's going on?
All the important folks are upstairs talking about it right now.
Well, I guess we might as well get comfy.
I'm sure they'll have a lot to say to everybody. Someone's gonna get tore up for this.
Not at all an understatement. And you guys are asked to wait around for 6 hours.
Danny will probably spend most of his time like just keeping an eye out the window and just kind of watching the street. Really, definitely having some dumplings though.
Yeah, the kitchen is still open for family members. You know, they're taking care of you guys.
By the end of this, Leopold will have drafted up a anticipated costs of how much it's going to cost to repair the Lotus and his house.
Lotus
It's in there, just a full proposal.
Yeah, the Lotus, the first floor took the most amount of damage, but you know that the upper floors, they installed bulletproof glass and things like that. They've reinforced it over the years, so not too much damage there, but you also know that there was a lot of Moroni businesses in Chinatown that likely were not given that same treatment, so. Very good. Okay. Let's do this. So, towards the end of the 6 hours, you can tell it's still a hot night. You know, you guys are watching the Vicky Vale report on what happened. As far as you guys can tell, based on what the Gotham Gazette says, there are something like 13 confirmed dead and 8 injured. The 2 buildings that were hit were definitely Moroni-specific industries. You guys would know with the description provided and your own general knowledge that one of them was a money laundering laundromat, and the other one was a warehouse that you guys specifically kept contraband that you guys had stolen, which means not only did you guys lose an avenue of money, but you also lost an avenue of collecting things that were going to become money. So it is quite unfortunate.
It's my favorite laundromat.
Are they businesses that Leopold did the accounts for?
The laundromats, certainly. The warehouse had less of an accounts. They did have a ledger that kept all of what was stolen and what wasn't, but that's entrusted to specifically a made man. So that is not something that you would have had access to. But the laundromats, certainly.
Then Leopold's going to start doing the risk assessment of how much exactly was supposed to be there, and he's getting ready to have to report what was lost.
Very good. Very good. At the end of the 6 hours, it's just past dark now here. Let's see, it was about 2 o'clock for you guys, so it's now getting to be about 8 o'clock in the evening, 8:30. And Sal Moroni, along with his entourage, leave the meeting room and head right out of the building. A bunch of the made men start to talk to a lot of associates, and Tony Zuko makes his way right for you guys. Can I have all of you guys make a perception check, please? Another one. 16, very good. Investigation is also acceptable if you wanted to roll that. 22, 17, perfect. So all of you guys...
It's the same number, just I clicked too high.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, it's all good. You guys notice when looking around the room that a lot of the made men that you guys knew aren't here. There's a significant number of people missing that should be here. Like, not like they're busy doing something else, but they should be here and they are not. Tony comes up to you and goes to you three and goes, Finn? Good to see you all here. The three of you. I wanted to speak to you. Finn, I need you to take these two to the meeting room with me as soon as you can.
Can do, sir.
Good. See you in a minute, boys. And he heads off, does something, and then you see him later making his way back to the... he talks to somebody else, and then you see him making his way back to the meeting room.
Just looks over his shoulder and gives a very slight, like half shrug, half head jerk, like let's go, and just trucks on over to this meeting room.
And I follow right in.
As you guys sit down, you can see him and two other associate bodyguards in the room. They're kind of standing off on the corner. One of them's on his phone. They're not super attentive. And as you sit down with Tony kind of leans back in the chair and he goes, I gotta say, boys, things do not look good. He lights up a cigarette and slides the packet to the middle of the table in case you guys wanted one.
Leopold will take one and strike it.
Yeah, Finn reaches out and grabs one and sticks it in his mouth, but doesn't quite light it before asking, so, I guess the question is, who, right?
Well, there are a few questions we gotta ask, but yeah, who? The obvious question would be the Falcons. Rather loud way of them to break a peace treaty, but, well, Sal ain't so sure yet. He's wanting to put this on hold for a minute while he looks into some things, but me personally, I think the longer we wait, the more it makes us look weak. I think we should hit back. But far be it from me to challenge the boss's thinking. He's a smart man. He's kept us alive for so long, I don't mind trusting his instincts on this one for now.
The boss is smart. I mean, if it ain't the Falcons, then hopping right back into war with them would, and he kind of glances to his comrades, be unprofitable.
More than that. That's the other thing we talked about. At least 10 of those guys that were killed in the bombing, yeah, they were ours. Made men. Every one of them. Turns out, there was an impromptu meeting today at the laundromat at O'Reilly's. And, well, it just so happens we're somewhat short-staffed now.
Does that mean we have somebody on the inside leaking information?
I don't even want to think about what it means right now. But, yeah, that would be likely. It's likely one of those 10 guys of us that are missing he hasn't shown up not because he was with those that died, but because he knew not to be there. Time will tell. But for now, we got another problem. See, we got plenty of associates, but right now the lack of made men makes us weak. We need fellas who can commit. Some people who are ready to do more. You understand?
That definitely gets Leopold's attention, and his eyebrows are raised, and he's looking.
Leans forward and gives a nod. Always ready to take care of business, sir. What do you need?
Yeah, I'm afraid I'm gonna need you to put your life on the line for me, Finn. See, when a made man's brought into the family, they're sponsored. An already existing made man volunteers them for the process. That way, if the person they bring in turns out to be a rat, then they're both removed from the equation. So I'm going to ask you to do something here, Finn, that's going to put you at risk. I know you don't know either of these two men here, but I need someone to sponsor more associates that I think might be ready.
Sure that these are square guys?
I can't say for sure. I know Leo's been working with us for a few years, and he's been very competent. But I don't know what his other skill sets are. And Danny here, he's unproven to us, but he's been effective. Ain't that right, Danny?
I do what I can.
I thought so. So this is a risk to you, Finn. Because if either of these two end up turning traitor on us, then it'll be your ass on the line too. So this is directed more to Leo and Danny. But I want you to know for sure that you aren't just risking your own life if you were to go to the cops, or go to the Falcons, or go to Mandragora down south, or whatever the fuck you feel the need to do. You're also going to be putting that guy's life on the line, and each other. If one of you goes bad, you all go bad. You're in this together now. You understand?
I understand.
Leo just nods.
Good. Is a lifetime business. Eh? So, Finn, I'm going to have you oversee their initiation. We got an idea of who might have... Well, we got an idea about who might have leaked the information about that meeting. So what I'd like you to do is I'd like the three of you to go over and pay him a visit, see what he knows, and then dump him in the river. Or Slaughter Swamp, or wherever the hell you want to take him. You do that, if any one of you pulls the trigger, but all three of you are there, then two of you are going to be made, and Finn, you'll be getting some more responsibilities.
Sir. And he kind of glances at the other two, but shifts his focus back to his direct superior. So the real question becomes now, who's this guy you want us to go have a talk with?
His name is Sammy not Sammy Guts. His name is Sammy Jumps. He lives not too far north, just off of Grand Avenue, off of Conroy Boulevard. Conroy Boulevard. He's well, he's always been a little squirrely, you know. And just since the meeting started, we had somebody come in and speak to us, say that they saw him helping arrange the meeting, but that they saw him up by his place when the meeting was happening. So figure out if he knows who might have done this, and whether or not you find for sure evidence that he was responsible, cut him loose. You understand? You do this?
Yes, sir.
Good. You do this, and you'll be Maroney's. For real.
Well, when you got rats, you need to call exterminators, so I guess we're exterminators.
Attaboy. Very good. Very good. All right. He stands up and he goes, I got 3 other of these meetings I gotta do, so. Scram.
Leopold stands, and as he stands, he pulls out one of those reefs of paper that he's been working on. This should be an accounting of everything at the laundromat. Hands it over.
See, that's why you're my angel. You're always thinking ahead. Thank you, Leo.
Nods, and with that, he's been dismissed, so he's going to turn and start walking.
Danny's gonna nod once and head out the door.
He goes to follow them, and turning, he will give a parting. I'll let you know ASAP what we find out.
So, you guys have. It's not necessarily a moment of quiet, as the Red Lotus is still pretty panicked at the moment, but you do have a little bit of time to decompress and communicate with each other about expectations here. What do you guys want to talk about, if you want to talk at all?
Well, Leo would look at everyone and why don't we go to my apartment, since it's just a block over, and we can talk about our next steps.
I'd be best to get out of underfoot over here. They look a little busy. And in the meanwhile, does Finn know anything personal about the target?
Ooh.
Is he just like a name that he's heard around the place, or?
Possibly. I think I might have you roll me something for that. Ooh, why don't you give me an expertise crime check? $15? Yeah, you've heard of Sammy. You've heard of Sammy Jumps. Sammy Jumps got his nickname because it's not the first time that he was supposed to be somewhere and then didn't show. He was almost going to be brought in to be a made man, but he backed out at the last minute and decided to stay associate. And because of that, he's been kind of looked down upon as a coward. You've met him once or twice, and he's consistently been pretty nice. But you also know from reputation and just from his general vibe that you wouldn't necessarily trust him to watch your back, you know? It's been nice enough. You know he's got a brother in Somerset somewhere.
Finn will relay this, what he does know, to his compatriots. What little it may avail, but more information good.
Certainly something. Now
I'm going to check and see what I have in my car, because obviously I wasn't, going out this morning planning for something to happen.
Yeah.
And I go see what I've got available.
You've got in your car right now, I believe you just got the standard shotgun that you carry with you. Um, yeah, you've got the shotgun, the heavy pistol, and the stun gun. All of those are available to you right now.
Okay.
Any of which would be pretty effective for unaliving this guy.
All right. Well, I guess I'll drive over unless everybody's walking.
It's within walking distance, but it's up to you.
I would
Well,
suggest driving to speed things up. If this guy is shifty, he will probably be trying to hightail.
Smart. Smart. So does that mean that you guys are all hitching a ride with Danny here?
I will if I can. He's willing to let me in his car.
Yeah.
What kind of car do you got?
This isn't my regular car. This is my, business speeding car to kind of, look a little impressive. So
yeah, the pretty one.
Yeah, the pretty car, and it's I'd say it's just a regular, nice. You know what? It's a classic. It's gonna be a classic.
Yeah, very good. Very good.
I'll decide what that is later.
Doesn't need to be anything super specific. Yeah.
Gotta be a caddy, man.
As you guys arrive at Leopold's place and make your way up the stairs, you can see a lot of people are sweeping up broken glass. It's real difficult to travel in Chinatown right now just because of how messy, the bombing has made things. But you guys still find your way up, and there's still broken glass everywhere inside the apartment as well, but it's comfortable enough for you guys to have this talk.
Do we know anything about Sammy's living situation?
I don't.
You guys know where he is. You do not know what kind of place he is in.
I'm going to assume we basically are just going off the address we were given.
Correct. It's right off of. It's right on the corner of Conroy and Hingle.
Is this like a block apartment type of setup?
Yes, it is. If you guys were to do any amount of internet research on what the place would be like, it's basically a block apartment. Not a super nice place. Acceptable,
Then we're gonna have to pick him up and then take him somewhere we can have that heart-to-heart with him. We're not gonna be able to do that at his apartment.
But first things first. If possible, I'd like you two to go to the door. And he glances up towards the fire escape and look calculating the apartment number. He starts working it out. I think I'll let myself in the back door, just in case he decides he doesn't want to answer the front.
I think we should approach and act like we're trying to make sure he's all right, to like a protection thing. Checking in on everybody.
That should work, as long as it gets you in the door without catching a slug.
Where on the map is it? Because I'm not seeing it.
I have moved the Moroni token to where it would be.
Ah.
Yes. So you guys have a plan. You guys have a stand. You guys want to go over?
Yeah, I don't think it's too complicated at this point.
Perfect. Now, Chris, Finn's apartment is right nearby there.
It's like about 3 blocks.
Yeah. So it's interesting. You're gonna need to whack a neighbor. That's fine. It happens. These things happen sometimes. As you guys...
Hey, a block's as good as a mile.
Yeah, exactly. As you guys make your way there and kind of pull up, you can see it's kind of a dingy place. There's an old woman. She looks like she might be of, she, not to stereotype a woman based on how she's dressed, but she looks like she might be of Russian descent of some kind. She's kind of sweeping the patio, and you can see there is a fire escape that'll lead basically right up to his place.
On the approach, do we see anybody like looking around? Anybody looking out the windows or anything like that?
Yes. Not in the apartment itself, but you do see a guy. Actually, why don't you roll me a perception check before I tell you what you see? Lots of perception checks. I'll have you guys rolling something at some point. Something new.
I'll take 22.
Very good. You do see there is a car, a black car with tinted windows, parked not too far away from you, and there's a guy in a suit that is kind of leaning against it, and he seems to be watching the apartment. It could be unrelated, but there is something that kind of sending some alarm bells for you there.
Does he make eyes on my car when we drive up?
I don't think he's noticed you guys, no.
I guess we'll park around the corner, and so he can go around back, and we can walk up to the front without like drawing attention to ourselves.
Absolutely viable. As you get out of the car, you guys have a minute to split up or do what you want to do. Leo, what are you going to be doing here?
I believe Leo and Danny are heading to the front door.
Perfect.
So,
And Finn's going to go up the fire escape, yeah?
Oh. I never go anywhere not strapped, but thanks.
Leo will tap his under his trench coat.
Had to make sure. That's my job.
All the Maronis.
I got good rates.
Yeah, all the Maronis have guns. Perfect. All right, let's start with Danny and Leo as you guys make your way around to the front entrance. You kind of have to squeeze past the old woman as you do. She's kind of blocking the front door. She's unaware of you guys as she keeps sweeping.
Excuse me, ma'am, and try to just, without touching her, try to get by if possible.
Oh, and she kind of holds up the broom to block your entrance. She goes, "Who are you here to see?"
We're here to see Sammy.
Sammy? Oh, little Sammy. Oh, that boy, he's in so much trouble.
Oh, he is. What did he do?
His girlfriend keeps telling him to stop going to that damned club, but he keeps going and going and going. He's going to be in so much trouble with her. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't be saying these kinds of things. You're such a handsome young man. Are you one of Sammy's friends?
Yeah, we're Sammy's friends. We're here to check up on him and make sure he's doing okay.
Doing okay? Why? Did something happen?
Well, we just hadn't seen him today. We were supposed to go have lunch, and he didn't come by, so we're just making sure he's all right.
I see. And who are you? And she looks towards Leo.
I'm George. I, like said, we're just friends of Sammy. What club has he been going to? He's been ducking out on us at nights.
Oh, he's addicted to that place, I swear. He keeps telling me that he's not going, but he's going for cigarettes, but he comes back covered in confetti and champagne, and it's, ugh, dreadful place, dreadful place. Uh, it's not far from here, a place called Mount Olympus, run by that terrible man.
Well, maybe we'll put in a good word for you and make sure he tries to do that a little bit less to lower your stress.
Oh, please. I don't care, but I worry about him. He's such a sweet young boy.
Of course, I understand.
Of course. All right. Well, he's not in right now, but if you'd like, I could let you know that you tried to come by for him.
Does it look like she's hiding anything, or just genuinely just doesn't think he's home?
Ooh, why don't you guys roll me an insight check? The two of you both. I believe insight is a skill. It is, yeah. Good. Ooh, 6 for Terry. 20,
I know nothing.
Yeah, 22 for Leopold. Yeah, Leo, you're pretty sure she's being honest. She seems very sincere. Though, Danny, it is hard to tell. Even though she sounds pretty honest to you, she is still kind of blocking your way into the apartment.
Well, Leo will pull out one of his mini little notebooks out of his pocket and start writing down something. Goes, I'll just slide a note under his door real quick. If I can squeeze past.
If you'd like, I could take it up. No, your knees are better. You do it. And she moves out of the way for you. As you guys make your way up the stairs, we're going to cut away over to Chris. So, Chris, as you make your way up the fire escape, you're able to kind of leap up and get in there. You've done this before. You know kind of what to push to make sure you can get up there. And as you climb into the fire escape, you make it up to the third floor where his apartment is, and you can see that his window is locked.
Is this a sort of conventional, like, latching window lock?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so pretty easy to break if needed.
Yeah.
But he will observe and listen, to the utmost of his ability to try to determine if anyone's inside.
Yeah. Give me another perception check, please. You guys are doing lots of those tonight.
It's
9.
worse at it too.
You don't hear anything in there. It's pretty quiet. There's no TV going, or no loud voices coming through or anything like that. It's kind of hard to tell with the sound of the street right nearby, though.
All right. In that case, he will align himself off the window, so casually looking out the window, you couldn't see him, but keeping himself pretty close to it so he can try to listen, especially trying to listen for the knock on the front door that he's going to be expecting before too long.
Right. All right. So, sorry, are you trying to break the lock, or are you just staying and listening?
For now, he's just going to listen.
Okay. Yeah, some time passes, and we'll cut back to the other two as they reach the door. You guys get to the number. You've got your note. What would you like to do as you reach his door?
Leo's just gonna go ahead and knock anyway, just to see if there is an answer.
There's a knock, knock, knock. No response.
How many other doors are up in this? It's like a hallway.
Yeah, you've got there are about 16 other doors on this floor that are within sight.
Is there any that are open or have any activity at all?
Nope.
Okay.
You think you might see somebody way down at the end of the hall struggling with some groceries, but they're so far away they probably wouldn't even hear you if you broke the lock.
I'll kind of like stand in between the door and them so they can't see, and I'll tell Leo, go ahead, open the door. I'll keep an eye out.
Chris, you hear the knock.
Will perk up and become alert. He sort of has a vague recollection that if this guy is in here and he hears a sudden knock, he might try to bolt out the window, so he's just standing by to grab him, which should be an easy thing for a dude coming through a window.
Indeed. And indeed, you do see somebody walk over to the door, except for that's not Sammy. He's about a foot taller, very well built, and he's wearing a ski mask. He's also got in his hand like a micro SMG, something like a Mac 10 or if you know your gun's a Mac 10 or something like that. Basically a pistol-sized weapon that shoots machine guns. Yeah, machine gun speeds. It's also
In that case,
it is also equipped with
yeah,
a
I'll say in that case, he pulls his weapon out right away if he
Yeah.
sees this.
It is also equipped with a silencer. You see him kind of look through the peephole, and then slowly back away, back into the bedroom, or into out of sight. Basically, you don't know where he's going exactly. Back to Danny and Leo. Somebody trying to pick this lock? So, why don't you guys were going to pick the lock, yes?
Yeah.
I hope that you have skill with that.
Would likely be a sleight of hand test in this system.
I wasn't sure if it would have been expertise in crime or sleight of hand.
I would allow an expertise in crime.
All right, I mean, I can try with that. You want to keep an eye out?
Then Leopold will take the spot that Danny was standing in and start looking around.
All right, go ahead and give me that roll. 13? Yeah, you fiddle with the lock for a little bit, and for a while it seems like you're not making much progress, but eventually you hear that oh so sweet click as the lock pushes into place.
Got it.
And as you slowly push the door open, you see Finn out by the window, kind of huddled up to the window. And you see his gun is drawn.
Can see them coming through the door, presumably.
Correct, you can.
Then he will give a pointing indicator of the direction that the guy is in.
I am going to reach into my coat and pull out. I think the heavy pistol will do for now.
Yeah. The chrome plating on that big Desert Eagle pistol, it glints a little bit as you pull it out. Leo, are you pulling out your gun too?
Not until he steps in. As he starts to cross the threshold, he'll pull his gun out, but he's more focused on trying to shut the door quietly.
Ooh, why don't you make me a stealth check for that?
Because again, I'm oh so good at that. Wow, better than I expected.
Better than it could have been. Yeah, you managed to very, gently and quietly close it. It creaks a little bit, but it certainly could have been a lot worse. It's a small apartment. There's maybe 2 or 3 rooms. You can see there's a bathroom in one side of the room and a little hallway that leads to a bedroom and maybe an office kind of area, just an extra room. It's not really a bedroom. The door to the bedroom is slightly ajar. But other than that, that is the entire floor plan.
I'm gonna look at Leopold and, like, with my empty hand, mimic, like, enunciation, like if I should call out or not, and see what if he thinks I should try to call out to him and go the peaceful approach.
Leopold shakes his head and puts his finger to his lip, and then Leo will start walking towards the window to unlatch it.
I'm gonna keep my pistol aimed in the direction that Finn was pointing to.
And as soon as this window is unlatched, Finn will do his best to enter without causing a big cacophonous mess.
Thank you. Okay. Sorry, give me that last bit again.
As soon as the window is unlatched, Finn will open it and enter, hopefully not making a big loud mess.
Yeah, that's what I thought. As you slide in through the window, it makes kind of a loud noise, kind of scraping up against the wood as you lift it up. But as you kind of slide out, you land on the floor pretty quietly, and all 3 of you are now in the living room of this tiny apartment.
Whereupon Finn will, lean close into the 2 guys and whisper towards them. There is a guy in there. Saw him. He ain't the one we're looking for. Too tall, but he has got a machine pistol.
Those aren't very common.
Leopold just kind of drops his head, shakes it.
Were you indicating the open bedroom door? Is that what you were indicating to?
Correct.
I want to get into a position that is kind of covered, like maybe like a corner wall that I can peek around to get a good angle on the door and kind of indicate that they should do the same. And I think maybe make a noise to see if they would come out after we're all in a good spot, instead of trying to walk in through a essentially kill zone.
Whereas Finn will try to get up as close to the door as he can without crossing its visual threshold. Whatever side that he's on, preferably as quietly as possible.
Leopold looks at the 2 of them, then he'll point at himself, point at the door, and then make a knocking motion at the front door.
And he'll kind of shrug, and he didn't answer before, so he's not sure if that would do anything. But is there anything within reach of the spot I've chosen to have like an object I can throw that would make noise inside?
Yeah, he's got some anime figures on like a shelf top right nearby you. Those look like they'd make a pretty loud clang.
Okay, I'll grab one of those and I'll kind of like toss it and catch it once to show that my intent is to throw it, and see if anybody has any objections.
Yeah. Does anybody have any objections?
mean, Finn has got right by the door frame, and he will be in like a ready pose. He'll just give a nod.
Leopold will shrug and hunker down somewhere with his gun out in the appropriate direction.
Perfect. As the 02 figure hits the wall, it kind of shatters into a couple of pieces, makes a pretty loud crunch. And all of you kind of hold your breath and listen carefully for any signs of movement, but it does not come.
I don't hear any like sounds on the other side of the door at all.
Correct. Nothing. A second passes, and another one. Nothing.
Finn will duck down, like dropping well down below what the level you would normally expect someone to be at if kneeling, like crouching down, and we'll take a quick peek round the corner of the door frame.
You gonna try to peek around it?
Yeah.
Ooh. As your head pokes around the edge of the doorframe, you feel cold metal press up against it as the guy with the machine gun pistol has been waiting right around the other side of the doorframe. And he goes, you hear him go, "You flinched."
I got tired of playing fucking hide and seek.
I don't blame you.
I'm gonna look over at Leopold and tell him to like duck down out of sight, like just like completely out of sight, and see if we can't surprise him with numbers.
I know why I'm here, but why are you here?
Because a certain employee is not on duty, and I'm trying to find out why not.
Ah. Maroney family then, huh? Okay.
How much is visible from where I am?
Basically just the tip of his barrel. You're more likely to shoot Finn than to shoot the barrel, but you might be able to pull off the pretty amazing shot.
Well, next question. This is a deagle, right? How thick is the wall?
The wall, probably not thick enough. You don't really have an exact idea where he is, but if you were to shoot with that Desert Eagle, that bullet's definitely going through the wall.
How far away am I from the door frame, and am I able to approach without going into the line of sight?
Not enough to be able to see him, but to be able to get a better angle, sure.
Because I kind of want to get as close as possible to limit my chance of missing if I'm going to take this shot. I'm not going to take it yet, but I kind of want to.
You're
get
getting
closer.
ready. Yeah, I understand. I totally understand. Yeah, you're absolutely. Go ahead and make me a stealth check. Why don't you?
If I take my time, can I take it as a
routine?
Yes.
I'm gonna say no, just because there is an element of pressure here.
No worries.
But I will say that it will be a much easier DC for you if you take your time. 18's pretty good. 18's pretty good. Yeah, your boots very slowly take a move, and then another, and then another, and you can hear the hardwood floors creaking just a little tiny bit, but you're pretty sure he can't hear you. Now, Finn, as the guy is talking to you, he says, well, look, as far as I'm concerned, you haven't seen my face yet, so I'm a professional. I don't intend to harm those that aren't my targets. So, why don't we work something out here, huh?
What kind of workout are you thinking of?
Well, you're crafty, but you're not who I'm here to kill. And I think my employers would be uncomfortable if a Moroni besides our target got injured.
Personally,
Would you say that one more
in
time?
a way.
Sorry, would you say that one more time?
That's very gratifying for me personally, in a way.
I'm sure it is. So how about this? How about you stand up real slow and turn around, and then I'm going to walk out of here with you. And once I'm in the hall, I'll close the door and I'll be gone. We'll be out of each other's lives. Yeah?
Okay. Suits me just fine. And Finn is still gripping his pistol in his right hand, but as he slowly raises himself, he will lower it to keep it basically out of line of sight from the guy, like kind of tucked behind his leg a bit.
Yeah. Will each of you roll a perception check, please?
Including I.
Yes, everybody. Ooh, okay.
We're paying
Alright.
attention now.
Everybody's paying attention. I'm kind of fucked then. Let me see what my guy gets here. I guess I just gotta roll me a d20. That is a 1. He got a fucking 1. Just then, Leopold, just right over your shoulder, the front door opens very slowly. And that's all you have to go on right there. But you've heard it creak open. He did not do nearly as good a job doing that as you did. All of you hear that happen.
Leopold is going to do something he doesn't want to do, which is he stands up and rushes to the door. Because the person is entering quietly, he's actually assuming it's Sammy. So he wants to grab Sammy or whoever it is his arm and pull them back out of the door.
Interesting. Okay. Oh boy, things are gonna get exciting here. Okay.
Am I close enough to the door frame to be like right up on it yet?
Yes, I would say so.
Okay, I want to like get as close to the door frame as possible, and I assume I'm not in view of the front door at this point.
Correct.
Okay, I'm gonna wait here, and hopefully they continue to do their thing, and I'm gonna try to surprise him as he comes out the door.
All right. Several things happen at once. Leo, I'm gonna need you to make a grab check. It should be in your attacks area.
Unarmed?
Correct. All right. That is a 13. Very good. As you reach out and grab the guy's arm, you feel him actually pull you And I need to make a roll here. That is incorrect. In one moment. That is a 28. So what ends up happening is you reach to grab him, and as you do, a very strong hand actually pulls you through the doorway, and the guy in a suit from earlier, he's got a mask on now, and he has got a gun to your head. And he goes, "You in there, Vito?" And the guy that's got a gun to Chris's head, or Finn's head, goes, "Hey, good to see you. I'm in a little bit of a bind here." And I go, "Yeah, seems like it. We icing these guys?" And he goes, No, they're Maronies." And the other guy that's got Leo goes, "Ah, shit. Don't want to start a war, do we?" And the guy, Vito, who's got Finn, goes, Yeah, we don't want to start a war. All right. Well, that could have been real bad. But, you still willing to cooperate, or what?
Well, I am. And I'm pretty sure that my Confederates here will be as well. But I think there's one really critical piece of information we got going on that's probably going to be quite beneficial for you to learn. That's, we ain't here for mutually exclusive reasons.
The two of us trying to whack a guy, huh? So I guess the Maronies found something they didn't like about the boy?
There's been an incident several hours back. I'm sure you've already heard about it.
Oh, yeah.
Hell, if you weren't on the South Island, I'm sure you heard about it direct. Like, boom.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we heard about it, all right. It's all over the news. You think our friend Sammy knows something about that kind of thing?
That's what we're trying to find out.
I see. So you're not just here to whack the boy, you're here to talk to him first.
Pretty much. So, I mean, if you've got it in your head to get rid of him, I can't exactly argue with that, but I would like a few minutes first.
See, that's kind of the problem, though. See, we're actually maybe we aren't as aligned in objective as you might have thought originally, because we want the boy dead, but we're actually doing it to keep him from talking to anybody.
I assume they haven't moved around the doorway yet.
Correct.
I'm still quiet as a mouse.
Yeah, you're ready.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. I kind of thought that might be the way of things. But there's good news yet, because the asshole ain't here.
Yeah, would seem so. Hey, Vincenzo. And the one that's got Leo goes, "Yeah?" He goes, "What's your guy like?" He kind of squeezes Leo a little bit, and he goes, "Hey, what do you like, fella?"
Sunset walks on the beach.
That's good. That's real funny. That's real cute. Here's what I'm going to say. Vito is a little bit more competitive than I am. He might enjoy a race. I personally prefer something that doesn't have conflicts. But we were asked to keep any Maronis that might be collateral down to a minimum. Violate some kind of treaty or something. So Vito, and Vito goes, yeah? He goes, how about we do this? How about we take a risk, eh? No collateral damage here, and we'll just have the best men win, eh? Vito goes, sounds good to me. I'm gonna step out now with your buddy here. I'm gonna make my way to the doorway. And if there's any issues, I don't know how many bullets are gonna fly, but one of yous is definitely going down. We got an understanding?
Well, I don't intend to be the guy who fires that shot heard around the Gotham.
Attaboy. And Vito starts to exit the door frame. Do you do anything with that information, Terry?
I assume that it's well known that the peace treaty is a major thing right now.
Correct. It would not be. It would be pretty common knowledge that that is a thing. They would not necessarily have to be Falcones or Maronis to know about it. For example, it's talked about in the news occasionally.
Now, from my perspective, they said that we have to be there to kill him. And would them killing Sammy be considered starting a war? Because I'm assuming that they're Falcone. I don't know for certain. But that's my assumption.
If you are assuming that they are Falcone, then yes, that would be starting a war. I mean, so long as they're known to be Falcones, you know? As long as they're not Falcones, then it could have been anybody, you know?
Right, okay. If he passes through the door and doesn't see me immediately, I'm gonna put the deagle to the back of his head and cover his mouth at the same time and whisper, shh.
All right. All right, give me a stealth check for this.
Trying to work on my stealth is what I need to do.
Ooh, we got some tensions. 21, very nice.
It's a natural 20.
That is going to beat him. So you actually press yourself real flat against the hole, and he moves past you, looking over the other shoulder of Finn. And as you move just past, you're able to swoop behind, and you do it. And as you do, he flinches just long enough for Finn to react.
If he is taken aback, I will make an immediate move to disarm him.
Good. Give me a grab check. You should be able to just roll it in your attacks. Yes, very good. Okay, so he's gonna have to roll. He's got to beat a 10, it looks like, in order to resist this. Oh no, that's the damage. He's got to. Yeah, no, he's got. You grabbed him. You're able to disarm him. Yeah, you're able to work that gun away from him, and you hear Vincenzo go, "You all right there, Vito? Sure seem to be taking a long time."
I'm gonna point to Finn and say, and like indicate him to halt, and I'm gonna come up with him and start walking and whisper to him, "Talk like it's normal."
As you kind of remove your hand, he speaks quietly to you first. He goes, "You know, there's no way this ends good for all of us.
Especially if you don't talk like it's normal."
He goes, "They got me, Vincenzo. They're holding me real tight, but don't panic. Don't shoot their guy just yet. I think we can still work something out of this.
And I'm going to speak up for the first time. Say, I think we can. Why don't we all have a seat here in the living room?
Vincenzo goes, why don't we? And as you guys kind of make your way to sit, you hear Vito go, look, I don't want to die, you don't want to die. Why don't we make this something a little bit more fair, eh? We'll take off. Just everybody put down the guns, and we'll race ourselves to the other guy, eh? You know where he's going to be if he's not here?
Out of character, I don't think we do.
The old woman seemed to suggest that he might be at Mount Olympus. Other than that, you got no idea.
Well, I guess what time of day is it? Is the club normally active during this time of day?
Yeah, it should be about 9 o'clock, something like that for you guys now. 10 o'clock? Probably closer to 10.
Leo's shaking his head.
He doesn't want that information shared.
He just shakes his head no.
Ben didn't actually hear that bit anyway, so he'll go ahead and speak up. Hey, unless you know where his mom lives or something like that, or where he flops when he ain't here, seems to be straight across the board. Just who can find him first kind of thing, right? So, how about we just part sans bullets and get back to work? How about that?
Why don't we? See, Vito goes, I'm actually in a more disadvantaged position right now, because, see, we got one of your guys and you got one of mine, as in me, so I feel like the show of faith here would be that you guys put down your guns, and then let us go first, huh? Call it sportsmanship.
How about we do, on the count of 3, we both move our guns away, and everybody walks away.
Yeah. Seriously, we're not getting in a fight here. It would be messy, and also, he looks around the apartment. Honestly, I don't want to die here, so we could just wash our hands of this little escapade and move on.
Vito and Vincenzo shoot a look at each other, and Vito goes, all right, on the count of 3 then. 1, 2, 3. And who puts their guns down? Obviously, you're kind of watching everybody to make sure they do it at the same time, but I just want to know if anybody's going to try anything sneaky here.
No, as long as they're moving, I'll move my gun too.
Yeah, and at this point, Finn actually has 2, so he will lower the muzzles, not like straight arm down, but no longer threatening for sure.
Yeah, and Vincenzo quietly releases Leo as well and kind of pushes him a little bit further into the room. He does not leave the doorway, though. Good. All right. Vito goes. He goes, all right. Well, that was tense. Glad we worked it out, though. Yeah. Suppose we'll be seeing you fellas then, huh?
Danny's not going to say anything. He's just going to stare at them really uncomfortably. Like, keep it moving.
The guy known as Vito stands up and kind of backs his way. And he goes, you can keep that gun, by the way. Not worth it for me.
Well, and Finn kind of raises it slightly and looks at it sort of curiously. Well, it's just another gat, right?
Yeah. Consider it a souvenir then, huh? And as they kind of make their way to the door, they slowly move through, and then Vincenzo closes the door behind him, and you guys are now alone in the apartment.
Finn, do you think you can beat them to their car and cut their brake line?
I don't know about all that. It'd be a straight dash.
It would be tricky, but you might be able to pull it off. It would be real tricky, but you might be able to pull it off. Okay.
But Finn ponders it and goes, the real question is, do we want to, like, start a war with some Falcones right here in our own backyard?
They're
Well, I think
They're contractors, the way they were talking. They're not Falcone. They work for them, but they aren't part of the family.
Just disposable. But
Well, we definitely need to get an eye on them to see if they're going in the right direction. Since we know where they should be going, hopefully they go in the opposite direction.
Finn, like, perks his ears up. You know where they should be going? Well, say no more. And he, like, turns around and, like, sort of steps through that window and starts descending the fire escape.
Yeah, you can see them on the street. They do get, they're coming out of the front of the building, and as you're making your way down, they just about get to their car, which is the same car that you saw the guy watching you guys from, and they speed off. They have taken off their masks. Why don't you give me a perception check to see if you can make out any details?
Also, I've got my phone. Can I try to snap a photo?
Ooh, at this distance, I don't know how good a phone camera it is. Yeah, you know what? No, I'll say you'll be able to at least get some details. Yeah. Especially for that 20 perception. Oh yeah. Both of them have greased black hair, and both of them have beards that are almost identical to each other. Beyond that, you can't really make out too much about them.
And maybe a look at the license plates as well as they're driving off.
Ooh, that one's too hard to tell from this distance.
All right. Too much to ask for. Okay.
Who was the guy that we talked to in the building? Was Tony, or was it somebody else?
At the where?
At the meeting place we had.
The Red Lotus?
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
Tony.
Red Lotus.
Yeah.
It was
Tony,
Tony.
Tony Zuko.
I want to send out a text to Tony as we're walking back outside. Just and I text him, Falcone's looking to keep Sammy quiet. Haven't found him yet.
3 minutes pass and you get a second text. Are you fucking serious?
Yeah, but we'll get him first, is my response. And I'll actually, before I send that one, I'll also put in there, believe they're contractors, not family, but close enough.
A couple minutes passes as you guys are kind of making your way out of the building, and you get another response, and he replies with, I don't know if I hate that more or like it more.
Well, for Leo's side, he was planning on staying in the room while these guys go to Mount Olympus.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to toss the apartment and start looking at this guy's financials.
Very good. All right. There is a laptop in there. Why don't you roll me an investigation check?
Oh,
Not the best investigation check you could have made.
not at all.
Sweeping the room, it looks like there may have been a laptop in, like, there's a table that's got dust on it in a laptop shape, but it's gone now. As you look into that little office area, there is like a gaming rig set up. It's got more anime statues and like posters on the wall and stuff. However, it looks like something's been like ripped out, like the hard drive's been basically ripped out of it. other than that, you don't really find too much of interest. You do find a couple of brochures for, or like business cards for Mount Olympus there. Oh, and one more thing. You do also notice there's a book from the Gotham Public Library. It's Pride and Prejudice.
That seems remarkably out of place given the rest of the decor.
Correct.
So Leo will go ahead and pocket that, and then he'll probably catch a cab to meet these guys over at Mount Olympus, because I'm assuming that would have taken him a little while.
Yeah, it's not too far. So, and you know, your search. This place isn't super messy. There's not a lot of clutter to investigate. So there just isn't much to find. So it won't take you too long. So the fellas, the Danny and Finn, as you guys reach Mount Olympus, it's this big skyscraper right on the edge of Grand Avenue. You know that most of the building is offices, but that Mount Olympus itself is at the top of the building, and you can see spotlights kind of shining up on the upper floor. You can hear the music playing out there. It's like you can already tell just from being on the same block that the building itself is like that the club itself is like an outdoor club on the roof penthouse area, and the music is loud and poppin'.
Before we take off to there, I'm going to ask, did you see if their car went towards this building or in a different direction?
It definitely would have left in a direction to meet that direction, yes. You wouldn't have been able to tell exactly, but they went down Conroy and then took a left, so.
So they might have gone this direction?
They very likely went this direction.
Super. I'm going to text Leopold and said they might be heading us off, so you might need to hoof it over here quick. Does somebody in the Maroney family own Mount Olympus? I can't remember.
You do not know for sure who owns Mount Olympus. Mount Olympus itself is it's a popular club. A lot of Maronis go there, you know. But you've never been invited yourself, so it's never really been something that you've checked out.
What do you think, Finn?
Probably already a half step behind at least. And he takes the little submachine gun with its silencer and tucks it into his coat in a reasonably concealed way, stuck down in his belt and angled onto the side of his body, adjusted a few times. Not really made for this work, but not our biggest problem right now. Seems to me we've got a limited amount of time to find a guy in a club full of assholes, including two who want to kill the guy.
We don't even know what he looks like, do we?
Finn does. Finn's seen him.
All right. Well, then we shouldn't split up because I won't know who he is.
I can give you the basic description, but
yeah.
There he is. Works better.
There, yeah. There is a massive line leading out the front. It looks like it's got two separate entrances. There's the main entrance for the main building, but then there's also a specific entrance that is just for Mount Olympus, and it basically leads to a series of elevators. It's like the big line, the bouncer, and then right behind there is just a bunch of elevators.
Well, I think we need to find the party floor, which I decided was on the top, so let's head straight up, see if we can.
Tell me, how much cash you got on you?
Do I have any recent sale money in my trunk somewhere?
I'd say you probably got something like $2 to $3 grand on you.
Mind if you spot me a couple hundred real quick?
Yeah, you owe me.
Sure. Uh, and Finn kind of slides up to one of the bouncer, and like, hey, buddy. And he like, goes to do the handshake thing where he's like passing out the money to him.
Ah, I see. Um, yeah, you know what? I think there was a mix-up on the list. You know, you were supposed to be on there, but it just didn't happen. So, yeah, come on through.
Yeah, me and my buddy here, we got our girls waiting for us in there.
Yeah,
Tell me though, have you seen my cousins come through here? A couple of guys, slick back, black hair, beards, look pretty similar. They do.
yeah. No, I ain't seen anybody like that tonight.
Oh, hey, well, thanks anyway, buddy. You have a good one.
Alrighty.
I'm gonna follow up and also give him another $100. Say if you do, make sure you give him a little bit of a harder time.
You don't get along with your cousins?
Nah, they
You know how it is.
disappointed me.
I see how it is. Yeah, alright, I can do that. I can hassle him. And he lets you through, and you guys make it to the elevators just as Leopold is pulling up. You can actually see him get out of the cab in front of the building.
Should we, give him a hand here? Because I don't think he looks the type who's gonna go straight to the front of the line.
Yeah,
As Leopold's wearing like $1,000 suit, yeah.
I'm sure he can figure out how to pay a bouncer.
Yeah, he's a grown up. Come on. Gotta try to find this asshole before, well, everything goes sideways.
I'll see if I can't grab Leopold's attention and just point up towards the roof, and then head up.
Yeah. You guys are able to kind of get him through just in the same way. You guys gave that bouncer Wade like plenty of bribe money. And you guys are able to catch a private elevator all the way up with just the three of you. And as you guys make your way, you can start to feel the elevator vibrate a little bit from the bass of the music. It seems like maybe an intentional choice. And then smoke starts.
On the right,
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
let's say on the right up, Finn will do his best to give a description of Sammy for the
Perfect.
other two who don't know what he looks like.
Yeah. And as you guys are like watching the counter tick up, it starts to get higher and higher on the floor list. And then smoke starts to pour out of the ceiling, like smoke machine smoke, not like, oh god, poison gas is pumping in here.
Or we're on fire, yeah.
And the lights start to dim, and then a voice comes over on the elevator speaker, and he goes, "Ah, my friends, tonight is a night for hubris. We are going to take you to another world entirely. Tonight, I take you to my home, to Mount Olympus." And the doors open, and the club is bumping. It's a huge place. There's lots of people here. You can already see, just as the doors open, a couple of people doing drugs. And as you kind of make your way into the crowd, it's really hard to see anything. It's well lit for an outdoor thing, but even then there's just so many people moving.
The first thing Finn will do was just do as rapid a scan of all the faces in the crowd that he can spot, looking for not only his mark but also his competition.
Yeah. Why don't you give me a perception check? What did the rest of you want to do?
I'm gonna head to the bar and just mostly check the bar and see who's at the bar, and then go from there.
Sounds like a great idea. Phoenix?
Leo is going to look for the fire escape,
Ooh.
the emergency stairs.
Yeah. There is an emergency staircase in the corner of the rooftop. There is a bouncer that is kind of by it to make sure people don't get in and out, when they shouldn't. But that is an exit that you've got locked down.
Well, that is where Leo's going to post up at. And, since we're outside, light up a cigarette and kind of chill over there and play with his phone.
Yeah, very good. Okay, let's see what Chris got. Now, Chris, you got yourself a 13, which isn't great for this kind of area. You're kind of doing the Attack of the Clones thing, where you're moving through the crowd and people are bumping into you and laughing, and it's really hard to keep track of what's going on exactly. And at one point, you feel a very large hand kind of clasp your shoulder, and I do mean large. I mean like this. It's almost the size of your head. Not superhuman, but pretty damn close.
Yes, he will slowly and in a imitation of calmness turn to face this behemoth.
Yeah, it is a behemoth. The man is easily like 7.5 feet tall, just absolutely jacked. He's wearing like a really nice white like silk button up that he's got only half buttoned. Lots of chest hair, big curly hair, and he's wearing I forget what they're called, but one of those things that like Roman emperors used to wear, the like leaf circlet thing.
Laurel.
Yes, he's wearing a laurel, and he goes, "You, my friend, I don't recognize you, and I thought I knew everybody who was on the list." He's kind of like, even though he's like kind of intimidating you, he's also very clearly like bouncing with the music as well, like he's having a good time. Big old smile plastered on his face.
Well, unfortunately, I can't stay terribly long, just sort of popping in and out, looking for a friend of mine.
Oh no, that's a shame. That's a real shame. My friend up there, you may or may not know him. He said you were with the Moroni family. Is this true? Made man? Big man.
Well, I wouldn't say big man, but I take care of some business every now and then.
Oh, we love Moronis here. Great for business. It provides so much for the people just to be next to a little bit of power, huh?
True.
You interested in coming up to the VIP area, my temple? The Temple of Zeus?
Well, it shouldn't hurt to take a look around anyway. I gotta say, your little place here is quite energetic and hopping, I'm sure. You must be making mad bank off this.
Oh, when people hear the name Maxi Zeus, they think electricity. And that is what this place is. Yes, yes. Please, come on up. Let me get you something to drink. You want some cocaine?
Nah, scotch and soda will do.
Scotch and soda will do. And he kind of takes you up the set of stairs into like this little flat platform area that's a little bit raised from the rest of the dance floor. Up there you can recognize there are a lot of pretty wealthy businessmen, many of them from overseas, almost all of them disreputable. One of them you can hear is like drinking quite a bit and laughing really obnoxiously with a couple of pretty women. He's got like this thick English accent. And we'll cut away from you for a second to go to Danny. Danny, as you've set yourself up here with the near the bar. The bartender kind of comes over to you and goes, "Can I get you anything to drink?"
Yeah, I'll take some whiskey.
Whiskey coming right up. Hey, I haven't seen your face here in a while. I haven't seen your face here before. You new?
I wouldn't say new, but certainly not old.
Well, Maxie likes all kinds of people here. You here for business or pleasure?
I'd say a little bit of both. We're looking for an associate.
I see. Well, I've provided you with pleasure, so maybe I can help you with the business too. Who are you looking for?
I'll give him the general description of him. Not going to give a name yet, but I just want to see how he reacts to that first.
Roll me insight as you kind of watch his face. Ooh, 20 insight. Yeah, you see him as you describe the guy. He definitely reacts. He kind of leans back and his eyes go wide for a minute. He goes, "No, I'm not sure I've heard of somebody like that. But you know, I can always put in a word to the boss, my manager, and he can put a word into Maxie, and normally Maxie's able to help out with these kinds of things."
Now, you said that we kind of knew a lot of the Maronis came around here, right? So would I be able to assume that putting the name Maroni out would maybe help me a little bit in this?
You could definitely assume that.
I think I'll try it a little bit. So I'll look at him and say, well, you know, when a Maroni business comes to call him, we got to make sure we look out for each other.
Oh, Maroni business. Okay. Yeah. Tell you what, wait right here. I'll be right back. And he kind of disappears into the back of the bar for a little bit. As we're gonna cut away from that for a second, we're gonna go back to Chris here. So, Chris, Maxie sits down on a big couch along with himself and goes, "So, vices. Let's talk vices. What are your vices, friend?"
Well, I suppose my number one vice is usually making bad decisions as it relates to women.
Oh, so true, so true. We have many fine women here. Do you want to see one? I could provide with you a good woman, huh?
Now, that is an extremely tempting offer, but unfortunately, I'm kind of on the clock here. I was sent to find an errant little lost sheep and bring him back home, and you know,
Say no more.
not too.
Say no more. Max Jesus will help you. Who is this one you're looking for? Do you have a name for me?
Well, I hear tell that our boy Sammy likes to play around in here.
Sammy.
On the regular.
Sammy jumps.
Yeah, then you do know it.
No one gets into Olympus without me knowing about it. We do have a list, after all.
Okay.
I have predicament, friend. Perhaps you could help me with it.
Well, what do you got?
You see, Sammy has been a loyal customer to me. Been here many times over the last couple of years. And he's done occasional favors for me. He came to me this evening asking for protection. And if I were to give you his name, his location, I imagine that would be violating that protection, no?
I can see that would be a bit of a pickle.
Maxi Zeus has a
But-
reputation to live up to, huh?
Very true. But let's just say that the Maronis have a reputation to live up to as well. And I'm I'm sure that not only I would be personally very grateful for any assistance you could offer, but also uh, others further up the chain could be grateful as well.
Oh, yes. I like you, little man. I like you. You know how to spin words in a way that sounds so sweet on the ears, like nectar. I'll tell you what. I cannot. I cannot give you Sammy. But, perhaps, should you be willing, I can arrange for a circumstance that will allow Sammy to leave this location. Huh? He will leave my protection, and in doing so will be very vulnerable. Huh?
I would very much appreciate that.
Good. Then enjoy yourselves for the evening. And say 1 in the morning tonight, I will tell him to meet me on the Sprang River along the banks, and I will be simply delayed. Hmm?
That should work just adequately and, in fact, exceptionally.
Good.
And Finn will, I'm sure by now he's had his drink delivered, and he will take a sip of it, give a quite a pleasant smile. Oh, hey, very nice, by the way.
Maxi Zeus does what he can, eh? Why don't you go and spend some time with your friends?
I should probably better. And thank you very much.
Don't thank me yet.
And Finn will give like a half bow nod and raise his drink as if in salute with a smile, and head back down to the main floor to find his compatriots.
You see Danny kind of by the bar. And of course you see Leo by the exit. Leo's doing a good job of watching out for someone to try to make an escape. Which one do you want to go to first?
I'll go to the bar.
Perfect.
I see him over there. Step up and kind of come up sort of behind him. And, hey, what do you think about having a cigarette?
Sure. I'm waiting for the bartender to come back.
A different bartender comes out of the back and starts like working at the counter. Does not even look at you.
That's a problem.
We'll kind of give a little bit of whisper. Come on. And
I'll get up and go with him.
head over to the fire escape.
As you approach, you can see that someone's talking to Leopold. Leo, in the last 30 seconds, a young woman with really short, like, kind of a black-haired bob kind of walks up, and she goes, "Hey, you seem wrong for a place like this."
How is she dressed?
Provocatively, we'll say.
He looks at her, looks up and down, and just does the mental arithmetic of how much she is wearing.
Ooh, very good. She's definitely wearing nicer clothes. She's dressed provocatively, but it's a very designed provocative. You know, you can tell that every part of her image is meticulously made to look pretty and draw your eyes. The clothing aren't any designer brands, but they're clearly high quality.
He's looking her up and down, and finally he just rolls out the number of, huh, so what's the $1,500 ensemble for the evening?
Oh, that's cute. That's real cute. Well, this place has got a lot of different types, you know? We get Maronis and Falconis, all kinds of stockbrokers from up north. But you don't look like any of that. I mean, you got the nice suit, but come park yourself right from the entrance, go straight to the exit. What's that about? What's your story?
You've been watching me. I feel flattered now.
I can't help it when three strangers come in with, well, I'd say murder on the mind, but it's just a look, you know?
I'm here to make sure the books balance.
Makes sense. Makes sense. You come up to tour around, or did you miss the offices downstairs?
Sometimes you have to do in-person inspections.
Damn right. Damn right. And Chris and Terry, Finn and Danny both kind of show up right around now. Oh. Speak of the devils, and they shall appear. Hey, fellas.
I think devil's a little bit of a strong word, but hello.
In this city, I don't think so. It's nice to meet you. What was your name?
Damn.
I'm just the accountant.
The accountant and Danny.
You are.
Sorry, what was that?
Finn, and you are, ma'am?
Name's Selena. I'm a regular.
It's a pleasure, Selena.
Yeah, I bet it is. And she just kind of walks away.
What is the name of that reporter again?
Vicky Vale.
Okay. Just double checking.
I gotta make sure.
Just her leave, and when he's confident that she's far enough away that the ambient noise has muffled everything, he turns back to the other two. Okay, here's the deal. I talked to the big man up there, and turns out he's got Sammy right here, under wraps. The schmuck's done asked him for protection. But I've made it somewhat clear that having a favor from a nobody and having a favor from somebody higher on the chain are different entirely. So, around 1 o'clock, an arrangement's going to be made where Sammy's going to get moved, supposedly to go to a meeting, but instead, we're going to be there, snatch him up, hopefully get out of there ASAP before those other guys show up.
Did I get a good look at the bartender that walked away, that first one?
You did. He was kind of short, brown hair, a little gangly looking. He didn't meet the description of the guy that you're looking for, but he wasn't far off of it either.
Well, the bartender, as I asked him about the description of our individual, he got real quiet and then kind of left and hasn't come back. So I think he might know our target.
This place has many eyes and ears. Sam already. If not by your bartender, even that lady was knowing too much about our business already.
Yeah, apparently when they have a guest list, they take it pretty serious. I'm gonna just guess that all of these people here know each other.
Well, if you think that this meeting is a good thing, we should still be prepared in case it's not quite on the up and up.
Yeah. And narrows his eyes and kind of moves in closer, speaking a little more quietly. Of course, I have no idea if we can take this guy up here at face value. And he like indicates like the upper level with the even bigger, richer people partying up there, and Zeus himself. So, honestly, I don't know if he's not insane or what, but it's the lead we got. I guess we gotta work it.
I would be surprised if Sammy's even in the building anymore.
Well, even
That
if he
being-
is, they probably won't give him up right now anyway.
Unless he is handcuffed to a banister somewhere. Someone's already told him, and he's bolted. But looking at this place, Sammy ain't got the money to party here. How do you think he paid his entry fee?
You see, that's another thing too. Mr. Zeus seemed to indicate that certain favors were being exchanged.
Favors and information always come with a price.
Well, that tells me even more that it will be even more of a chance of it not being quite in the up and up, so we should definitely go prepared for anything.
Agreed. And we should probably get there a little earlier than anticipated to get a good scope around.
I suggest watching this building. More specifically, drivered cars, up until it's time to meet wherever you're meeting.
I don't think we have the manpower to watch every corner of this building, unfortunately.
There's usually only two ways in, really. The service entrance and the front door.
Let's just assume that the front door is a little too obvious.
Maybe two on the back, one in the front, just in case.
Might as well. Let's and he like seems to look around, and like the throbbing music is kind of like making his eyes squint a little bit. Let's go ahead and get some fresh air, hey?
You guys kill some time. And pretty soon, somebody kind of comes up to you guys and goes, excuse me, gentlemen.
Yeah. What can we do for you?
Maxi Zeus has a message for you. He says that he's taken the steps necessary. And he said to hand you this. And he hands you a little printout of a map that shows the Sprang River just north of Finger Foods.
Well, thank you very much, and do please relay my gratitude to Mr. suits.
I always have to pay homage to my gods. Then he kind of walks off.
And kind of chuckle a little bit.
Finn passes the map over to the others. Well, this is the supposedly how the plan is going down.
Well, we best prepare for it then.
Yeah. Come on, let's get out of here. This is kind of a loud spot for my scene.
So, do you guys make your way to the car and over to the place?
Yeah.
If it's about time, then yeah.
It's about time. As you guys are making your way there, you pull up and you can see him standing there on the bank. He seems real nervous, but he doesn't look surprised to see you.
Is there any other vehicles or people around anywhere?
Nope, it's just him. As you kind of approach in the dark, there's not a lot of lights here. It's kind of like right on the edge of the river. And he goes, oh, hey, Maxie said you guys were gonna switch cars here, and it's been long enough. I wasn't really sure if. I heard somebody was looking for me at the club.
Yeah, that's the word that was going around. Come on, we should probably get out of here as quick as possible.
Are you making?
Got a car right over here.
Are you making any attempts to hide your face?
I mean, I suppose he has his hat on and it's dark, but not suspiciously so.
Yeah. Let me roll something real fast. Okay, so he got a 3, so he has not noticed you. He doesn't recognize you. He kind of...
I would say I didn't get out of the car either. I'm going to just
Yeah,
sit
you're
there in
just
the car.
sitting in there. Perfect. As you're, you got the car idling, and he goes, oh, thank God. I'm ready to get out of this town. He gets in the car alongside you guys, and so... Maxie wasn't real specific on where you guys are taking me. Where am I going? Bloodhaven?
We'll work that out a little later. And sitting in the back beside him is Finn, who promptly pulls his pistol out and crams it into the guy's ribs as he reaches over and locks the doors.
Oh my God. Oh shit. Oh God. Oh no.
And I'm going to hit the gas.
Yeah. You pull out. Where do you drive? Danny? You just gonna cruise? Is there a specific place you want to start heading towards?
Yeah, we're not going to fly down the road, obviously. We're going to cruise. I'm going to say... I think we're just going to kind of cruise around for a little while until I decide where I want to go, and I haven't really
that's
thought
fair.
that far ahead.
Yeah, no, that's fair. We'll say you just kind of move your way north into Burnley, which is not really either anybody's turf, and maybe across the Tri-Great Bridge into Bristol, and then you'll just kind of head south and loop back around into Somerset, That way, if you decide you want to go further south to Slaughter Swamp, you guys can. As you're driving,
I almost want to go to the amusement mile.
That's on the way. That's absolutely on the way. As you guys are going, Sammy keeps stuttering. He's like, "Oh God, please, I don't want to die. I don't. Oh God."
Now look here, Sammy. I got good news for you, but also bad news. And you see, the good news is that you have a way out of it,
I do.
right?
I do.
That's right. All you gotta do is be on the level.
Okay. All
Because
right.
there's a lot of shady shit that's been going down, and I really need to know the truth about it.
Okay. Okay. All right. I can do that. I can do that. What? What do you want? What do you want to know?
Well, as I'm sure you're aware, it seems that certain explosive devices were detonated and casualties were taken. Now, it's my understanding that you had some kind of part played in getting together these people in this place where apparently they were all killed. And you somehow miraculously got out of there without a scratch.
You can see his gets a real pained look on his face, and he goes, "Oh, jeez. Look, yeah, I mean, I did, but I didn't know it was gonna happen. They, I just, I just did what he asked. All right, I didn't. Oh shit.
He who?
Eh, He said if I told anybody that, he said if I told anybody, he'd kill my brother.
When he hesitates to answer directly, I'm gonna kind of noticeably go a little bit faster, like hit the gas a
Okay.
little faster.
Oh shit. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. I didn't meet him face to face. I mean, I did. I did, but I he hit his face and I couldn't. He called himself Duke Bronte. All right.
Monte. Well, that's
He
who
told.
is he? Where's he from? What's he do?
I don't know. I don't know. I
Jesus.
don't know. All I know is that he had.
Have I heard that name before?
You have not. None of you have heard that name before. Definitely. Uh, actually, let me have Leopold. Leopold, would you roll that for me? Would you roll? What would you roll? What am I gonna make you roll here?
I have eidetic memory.
You do. Oh, okay. In that case, you have seen that name before. You remember about 3-ish years ago. It was absolutely nothing consequential, but you remember some of the Moroni boys brought in a couple of stolen financial documents from the Falcones. Used it to end up turning over one of their businesses into something, just a minor pressure that wouldn't start a war kind of thing. And you remember the name Duke Bronte showing up as one of the names listed as a Falcone business owner that was definitely not real, you know? It was a fake name so that they could get their shell business and all that shit, but that's where you've seen that name before.
What does Bronte look like?
I don't know. He wore a suit and he wore this creepy fucking mask, you know, like one of them what the Venetian ones, the ones that they used to do for those freaky plays with the big dicks and you know?
And what did he sound like? High pitch, low pitch, Italian?
He sounded Italian. I don't know. Look, he showed me pictures of my brother asleep in his bed, and he said that if I didn't set up the meeting and invite as many made men as I could, and provide a good enough reason on why to be there, then he was gonna kill my brother. So I did, and then I just didn't show up, and he asked me not to show up, so I didn't go. I didn't know that was gonna happen. I swear I didn't know.
Was anyone with him? What car was he driving?
Yeah, he had two guys beside him, but they were both wearing masks too. Some kind of like ski they weren't ski masks. They were like they had skull print on them. They were almost like somebody would wear to airsoft or something like that. They had dark hair. I know they had dark hair.
I'm gonna continue driving up
Listening
towards
ears.
the zoo or aquarium area of the
Yeah.
amusement mile.
Perfect.
Oh, I do want to roll insight on all this, by the way.
Please do. Oh, yes, please do. Very good. Yeah, for a 14, he seems pretty desperate. It seems like he doesn't, like, he's weighed up his options. It doesn't seem like he's got a lot left to lose by being honest with you, and he's got a lot to lose by lying.
Italian guys. Two of them in masks. Where does that sound familiar?
I don't know if
That's
I don't know if the other two guys
Vito
are
and
Italian.
what was the other one called?
Did they have the ones wearing a mask? Did you notice if they had beards?
Well, no, the masks would have covered them. They were like half masks, you know, from the nose down.
Do those masks like the one that guy was wearing when he came up into the apartment earlier?
No, those guys were wearing more traditional ski masks at the time.
Ah, why is it always got to be so fucking complicated? Well,
Why didn't you come tell somebody that you were being targeted?
Because made men died. Shit, man.
Before they died. Why didn't you say something before then?
Because they would have killed my brother. My brother's a lot of things, but he ain't in this life, you know? I couldn't do that to him or his wife. He ain't in this life.
Is he a made man? Do I know if he's a made man or not?
Sammy is not made. He was almost made at one point, but he backed out at the last minute. Decided to stay associate.
Is there some kind of like oath he would have taken at that point before being made, or is it just an associate?
Nah, at that point, it's associate is just somebody who works with the family regularly, you know? No oath, no nothing like that. But still, I mean, if you sell out the family, no matter who you are, it's a bullet, you know?
Yeah.
So, Sammy, how is this the only time you've met or spoke to these?
Yeah, he ain't contacted me since, but he did.
How did he contact you the first time?
He was just in my apartment. He showed up there with those two guys. He did leave me like $5,000 of cash, but he said it was for a job well done. Just was at my apartment when I got home. So I took the money and I took it to Maxie and I told him what happened, and he said he'd take care of me. I guess I'm getting taken care of, all right.
He left you money after the explosion?
Yeah. He was just in my apartment with a note, you know.
well, I think I got some more good news for you there, Sammy. You see, I think your brother and his wife are probably gonna be just fine.
Oh, joy.
Well, that was your primary motivation, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I can make peace with that, at least. I ain't
So what jobs have you been doing for Maxie?
Maxie. I haven't been working for Maxie. My brother works at his club. He's a bartender. He's been helping me get in. I'm just. I like to go and. I like to go and pretend I'm one of them, you know? Like, someone powerful up there. Someone who knows someone powerful. I ain't. I ain't gonna make it out of this, am I?
You know how this life goes.
And it can all depend on just how honest you can be.
Okay.
Now, you think real hard. Is there anything you haven't said yet that you think you oughta?
Uh, no, I don't know.
Is there anybody out here? I mean, I know it's super late, so probably not.
No, you guys are approaching 3 in the morning. There's no one out here by the aquarium.
But is there like a good view of the ocean, or is it like I don't know what the word I'm looking for is. What is the area like? Let's start there.
It's basically, it's a couple of like buildings that people might live, but mostly it's open territory. The Gotham Zoo and the Gotham Aquarium are both right next to each other, right on the coast. They're basically built on big paved parking lots, so it's a lot of barren land, and then maybe a little dock, like a little wooden pier, and the aquarium and the zoo. So nobody's out here for like a mile.
I think we should take him over towards the water and let him look out over the water. Keep thinking about it. We'll give you a couple minutes to think.
You just gonna set him up and talk to yourselves with it out of his earshot?
I don't think we necessarily need to talk. I just want him to, be able to really just think about it, and I'm gonna get everything ready. Put a silencer on the pistol and kind of prep for probably the inevitable.
I'm not sure if any of you have silencers except for Finn, who's got the silenced, yeah, SMG. Those are
Which
gettable.
I will.
Sorry. Those are gettable, but
Oh yeah.
they're military. Like, they're basically exclusively military stuff. So like, it's not super easy to get a hold of one.
Well, I thought I might have been my profession, but if not, it's fine.
Not quite yet. You're getting there though. If this deal with Thorn
Still
goes
have
through.
a suppressed weapon.
Yes, you do.
And as Finn stands there by his compatriots, he pulls the suppressed submachine gun out, and with his other hand, he will light a cigarette and take a few drags off of it. So, you wouldn't happen to have any rope or a bag or anything in the trunk, would you? There?
Would I?
I don't know. I feel like that's a question for you. Is that some stuff that you would necessarily carry on you?
I don't know about in this car because, like I said, I was originally just going on a business deal. But I suppose maybe I've got a little stash somewhere of any number of things I might need,
Utilities,
just in case. Yeah.
I'd say in your business car, probably not. Probably not. But I mean,
I don't think I do.
You guys are there is some rope and stuff kind of piled up by the shore. No bags or anything like that though.
How clean are these beaches?
Less of a beach and more
Awesome.
of a couple of rocks like right up on the coast.
Well, I guess we don't really need to worry about permanently getting rid of it. I suppose if he washes back up, it would be a good object lesson.
Yeah, I think so.
Leopold shrugs. We have what we need. No reason to make him suffer, he told us.
Yeah, and Finn will switch the thing to semi-automatic and
Mm-hmm.
walk up. He's still got the cigarette in his left hand, and he's holding the gun down by his right. And he walks up on the guy, so he's like kind of to the rear and left, so that he's got the gun sort of directly behind him. Well, Sammy, you've had a minute to think. Anything else you think we need to know that may make a difference?
No, I got nothing. I swear. You got everything out of me.
Then I think
Can I try to do an insight to see if he's lying at all, or?
Sure. Let's see them rolls. 14. Another 14 insight. Very fun. Um, yeah, I mean, it's hard to say for sure. Um, Definitely it seems like he believes that he's gotten you everything, but he's also so defeated right now. Like he's so focused on what is potentially about to happen that his mind just might not be really reaching places that it needs to be as well.
Sammy, one last question from me. What kind of suit, Aaron? Do you know what type it was?
Uh, well, I don't know. I ain't a tailor, but
Like, was it a designer like a Versace or?
uh, I don't know. Yeah, it would have been a nice. It was a nice one. It was this uh, white and gray pinstripe. Um, was real. It was really something. But I mean I can't tell you. Versace from a Target designers club or whatever.
Hmm. All right. Well, thank you, Sammy. I believe it's time to finish and close out the books.
Oh God. All right, all right, all right, all right, Sammy. All right, here we go. All right, all right, all right,
I'm gonna look back towards the street where we came and just make sure that there was no other cars or something that followed us out this way,
all right. Nope, you are clear.
and I'll just keep watching.
Finn says, "Don't worry, kid. It's gonna be okay." And he just raises the gun straight to the base of the skull at the top of the neck and pulls the trigger.
It's a quiet sound that comes out, and then a thud as the body hits the ground. How do you get rid of Sammy?
First thing he'll do is put the weapon back on safe and stash it. Pick up the empty brass and put that in his pocket.
It's hot to the
And
touch
then
as you pick it up.
maybe he'll kind of like he'll sniff the smell of burnt cordite a little before he pockets it too. But that's,
Maybe
hey,
we should give out a message too.
what are you thinking?
Maybe drop it off in some other part of town.
I mean, Tony did say get rid of the body how we saw fit, but I almost got the impression he was talking about it, it's being dumped or something. However, I don't know. There's a lot of like mystery surrounding this whole thing right here, isn't there?
Finn, you would have, in your past, generally, they would want you to make sure the body never resurfaces. Disappearance is always better than a murder. And also, it is a strange situation.
I'm just saying, the way Tony was talking, I don't know if that'd be the best play right now. Should just stick with the standard procedure and see if I can find a little bit of rope around here somewhere.
You can find a
Tie
little
a few
bit.
rocks to him.
Yeah. There's a little bit. It's not an easy process, but you've got plenty of time. Nobody would have heard the sound of that suppressor out here. And before too long, do each of you help throw him in the water?
Yeah.
Yep.
Each of you gets a little tiny bit of blood on you in the process, and he goes into the Atlantic and sinks.
And because, like, Finn's been wearing gloves, but he'll now take his handkerchief back out, kind of dip it in the water a little bit, and use it to kind of clean himself off to some moderate degree. Well, almost felt sorry for the kid. Too bad he played fucking chump, though.
That's what happens when you're a rat. I'm gonna clean myself off. I imagine I have like a, gun cleaning rag or something around that I can use to clean myself up a little bit.
Leopold, however, pulls out a handkerchief and is very delicately dabbing away the mess.
And I think the drive back to the Red Lotus from here is quiet. Some of you have more to think about than the others, but you do know that when you come back, if Tony was being honest with you, then each of you are going to be in a significantly better place than you were before.